wide-site TV.
So, Clark, there's a lot of talk about 2050 and where we need to get to. What's your vision for what 2050 will look like in terms of people's lives, economies, and everyday habits?
So first of all, electricity will dominate. Today we've got some oil and gas and various things, but in the last 10 years, we've all got used to recharging things, recharging our phone, recharging our tablet, our laptop. There's going to be a world where electricity and the ability to charge, whether it be our car, whether it be our heating. So we're going to get to that habit of where it's not just quite a consumable and throw away, it's a reuse. Now we'll have wireless charging, we'll have charging on the go. So hopefully it'll be a transition where people find it easy. But they'll just have to get used to a slightly different way of living and working, I think.
So that's about kind of habits and what we do compared to what we do now. But really, can we afford it?
Well, at the moment, I would say that our approach to climate change is a bit middle class. Everything's a little bit more expensive. If you want to buy sustainable products or an electric car, then at the moment it's just not affordable. And I'm worried about fuel poverty, and I'm worried about people's ability to transition. And so therefore, one of the things that we need to do is find the affordable solutions and available solutions. And I think we've got some work to do on that. But offshore wind is a great example. We've brought down the price of it by 75% over the last 10 years. And I just wish that we'll have that drive to make sure the consumer can see the benefit in their pocket as well as their life.
And so just on that kind of consumer piece, we've just been through a pandemic and it's brought all kinds of hardship and challenge that we wouldn't have been able to foresee a few years ago.
Yeah.
Do you think that we're all a bit jaded now and that as a result net zero and climate change are falling, the public's losing appetite for them?
Well, I think like most topics, you've got to keep it fresh and you've got to make sure that people can see the relevance to their lives. And yes, I think people are jaded. But can I just say two things about the pandemic? One, the pandemic showed that if you have a coordinated plan for something, you can change society. Look at the way we managed lockdown. Look at the way we've created the vaccines. Look at the logistics. So when there's a driving need, you can actually get people together to collaborate and achieve. And I think that's what we need to look forward to in terms of our climate change, our renewable energy, and our habits. If we can keep that same drive, that we collaborate, bring everybody with us, and to me, it's information and impact. Give people information, explain the impact, so they can assess it for their own lives. And I think the pandemic, we've shown that. You're able to assess, do I want a vaccine? Can I go out? Do I sanitize my hands? Do I wear a mask? And then you've got choice.
And the second thing?
The second thing is, I think there's momentum in the industry. So I think there's a political will. Clearly, there's an economic opportunity. There is potential renewing of people's jobs into a new economy. And what I would say to people is, the great thing I think about university and education and society is people just don't look at one career. They've got, when I was growing up, people worked for the same company for 40, 50 years. I think people are more adaptable now. And so look to our industry and say, where can I adapt? What can I come into? Take a risk. And also our industry is quite young compared to the energy industry, so you will be able to have your voice heard.
That's really inspiring. You're one of the architects of the sector deal. So if I can rewind you back to, say, 2017 when you started negotiating this, have you noticed any kind of change in the mood music between then and now, either in politics and policy circles or public?
It's really funny because at the beginning of the sector deal, we were heading for 10 gigawatts. And then could we persuade the government to do 20 gigawatts by 2030? And it was only in February 2019 we did. Then Conservative manifesto was coming in. Could we get onshore back? Could we get offshore more ambitious? And we got it to 30 gigawatts. And then it became 40 gigawatts. And I think what we have got is, instead of us pushing it, I think people have now got momentum behind it. And so now we've got a lot of opportunity to bring onto the table the issues we still need to solve. Grid, planning consent. I don't need to go into the detail, but let's use that pressure, that enthusiasm, that opportunity to move forward. So instead of pushing, Let's take that energy and move forward. And that's a lot different from where we were in the sector deal. So if the sector deal was the foundation, let's now build the house.
Energy. Energy. Marine. Energy. Power. Widesight TV.